Hey, thank you, Ryan. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Another nice morning here in New York City. I hope it's just as great where you are. And welcome to session two of Ginnie Mae Single Family Virtual Issuer Training. And before we start, I just wanted, is there any questions or any concerns anyone might have from our first session on Monday that you want to go over now before we start our session today? Just want to give people the opportunity to, if they have any questions, they can ask now. I guess there's none. So let's go into this. We're supposed to be go at least for 2 hours. Let's see how the session goes. So within that time, I hope it will be beneficial to you. Again, if you're a new issuer to Ginnie Mae, welcome. If you're a refresher, you're gonna be learning some things new today because we're gonna go talk a little bit about SFPDM, not really in depth, but we're gonna mention it. We're gonna show a video of SFPDM just to give you an idea what it looks like. So, and then we're gonna also talk about some in GennyNet certification module because we are still using GennyNet, especially on the custodian side, and also on for research and final certs and document custodian transfer. Those processes are still done in the GennyNet space. So as I said, SFPDM new pool processing module, the SFPDM demo, and then the GennyNet certification module. That's what our day kind of looked like today. Okay, I'm sure most of you have been hearing the word SFPDM, SFPDM, SFPDM for the longest while. So it's, you know what? It's finally here. April 26th was the day we launched SFPDM to the entire issuing population. So it's finally here, and that's going to be the new system that most people will be using now. So I just wanted to give you some information on the adoption rollout overview. Ginnie Mae is currently in the midst of an 18-month transition to the new single family pool delivery module. That's whenever you see SFPDM, that's what it means. Single family pool delivery module and the MISMA compliant pool delivery data set, the PDD, for the delivery of single family and manufacturers housing issuance data. So SFPDM is alive, it's working. Some people are using it. Some people are either doing manual entry or currently doing imports. So just to give you some of the timeline that Ginnie Mae has set. If you're familiar, you should have gotten in January 2022, the early part of this year, a all participant memo was released on January 31st. Ginnie Mae released the APM 2022-02 announcing the start of the 18-month transition to SFPDM and the MISMO compliant TDD. So that's a good date everybody wants to remember because then you have to go through the transition. And then the full SFPDM release was on April 25th. Ginnie Mae rolled SFPDM on all the single family and multi to the manufacturer housing issuers. So right now, if you log into my Ginnie Mae on your dashboard, you should see something that says SFPDM pools. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not even know if it says SFPDM pool, but it should be there on your dashboard. So you do have access to SFPDM right now. So you always can go in and do just play around with it, navigate just to make sure you're familiar with it. And the end of 2022, very important, listen to this. Ginnie Mae expects all SF and MF issuers to have a working PDD and or be pooling in SFPDM by end 2022. So they want you to have something, a working PDD, or you could start, or you're pooling in SFPDM by the end of 2022. And a big date to remember is second quarter of 2023, GennyNet cut over. Very important, GennyNet cut over. GennyNet will no longer be used for single family pooling. Only SFPDM will be available to issue for single family pooling. Very important. Ginnie Mae wants you by the end of this year to start using SFPDM. Get your PDD in order, so you can maybe start getting your XML file ready if you're going to do imports, if you're going to do manual entry. Get familiar with the system and know to start entering that data. And they want to make sure the second quarter of next year, 2023, everybody should be in SFPDM. So those are some timeline you really want to pay attention to. The release of the memo is still out there on Ginnie Mae website. Then they release SFPDM in April. They're saying they want everybody in the system by the end of the year. And they're saying now, come next year, sometime into the second quarter, into the third quarter, GennyNet will not be the choice anymore to do issue your pools through. So you want to make sure you meet those deadlines. If you have to share this with the powers to be in your organization, please make sure they're aware of it if you're still going to be in the Ginnie Mae program and you're going to be still doing Ginnie Mae pools. Okay, some more information, feature and benefits of SFPDM. Just want to highlight this. Of course, we're selling this, so you have to come on board if this is what you're using. So you want to make sure you have enough information if you're the ones who need to pass that on to the powers to be. The new SFPDM application will provide issuers an overall enhanced user experience. Transparency into pool submission. Let's look at that. Transparent views of the pool submission process from submission to issuance, including an interactive graphic timeline of the pool status. Enhanced pool search and sort capabilities, including search and filter features on multiple data elements. Those are new things that we have had limitations in GennyNet, so we're making it more intuitive now for the users. So it makes sense. We're trying to bring it into the new age. Intuitive user interaction design, user-friendly design with understandable edit rules and error messages. My dashboard provides a customized at-glance overview of your issuer pool based on your issuer role and privilege. Quick access link to view relevant forms, HUD form 11705 and 11706. One time you'd have to go to reports in not one time, it still does. Go to reports in GennyNet to print. Now on the screen, you have an area that says doc. You can just go there and print your 11705 and 11706, and it's PDF. It's much faster. So those are new enhancements to your processing. And then operation improvement of pool processing. Multiple pools and loan actions can now available on one screen. Add loan to a pool without having to process entire submission. Pool summary header with issuer, custodian contact, last updated by, and other useful data. New reporting capability that save time for monthly pool reporting. So those are some of the new features on SFPDM. And as you get familiar with it, you'll say, oh, this is really different. I like this. And I hope you do say that. So we have greater transparency, the intuitive of the UI, and of course, the operational improvement. So we're going to go through a video sometime later, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Just want to check a little bit on the business flow. just so you get an idea of what happens or what is going to take place anyway. The issuer creates a new single-family pool. The issuer saves and validates new pool. The issuer submit pool for certification. Document custodian certifies the pool. Issuer deletes draft pool if applicable. Issuer add a loan and replace if applicable, save and validate. Issuer recalls pool for not release for issuance. Issuer requests pool transfer at issuance. The tie or the PIT process is also in the system. Document custodian certifies PIT pools. Bind issuer accept PIT pools. So basically some of the same process that you go through in GenNet is also incorporated in MFF. I know I was going to make the mistake in SFPDM. We also have MFPDM for the multifamily issuers. So this is, we're dealing with SFPDM. So this is just a quick look at the business flow itself. Working in SFPDM new pool processing module, accessing SFPDM and the pool import XML file. These are just, we're going to just show you some screens. We'll talk more about that when we go through the actual demo. Just want to give you some screen, just basics. Just if you look at the section right here that I think I'm a little bit faster than you guys. Right here where it says on your dashboard, this is where you're going to have SFPDM pools and loans. If you log in later today in my Ginnie Mae, make sure it's there. If it's not there, get in touch with your org admin, because I think the weekend of April 27th, 25th, we gave everybody that entity so you can have the functional role of SFPDM. I think it's called PDD entry or something like that, but you should have this on your dashboard. You should have SFPDM pools and loan and all SFPDM maintenance, and also a section that says reports. Those reports are new reports, something that we generate, so that might help you at the end of the month to just see the status of your pools or how many pools you have issued. So those are new reports we have introduced in the SFPDM space. So 1.3, you're accessing the SFPDM, and then 2.1, this talks about the loan, the pools and loans screen. If you have had a chance to actually go through and navigate through the system, this is what it basically look like in SFPDM. And just give you some more of the features, you can also do search on pools. And these are just some of the options you can select for searching. You can search pool ID, issue date, pool class, pool suffix, status, business rule, custodian ID, loan indicator, and mortgage type. So these are some of the new searches you have. We have some search in GenNet, but it's not that extensive, I should say. So this is what this screen is actually showing you. And slide 11, I think, also all pool slider overview, just to give you an idea what the screens look like. This is just giving you, when you actually go through the user manual, you'll see these things. We just decide to highlight some of these features, some of these screens in the presentation, but you'll have to see them yourself when you go through the user manual, or when we give you that quick overview of the SFPDM system. This section, we just put this in here, talks about the pool import and XML file. There's some things I just want to give you on this. So let me try and get to. As part of the transition to SFPDM, Ginnie Mae is replaced in the legacy flat file export containing pool information to the new MISMO compliant XML export. So that's a big change. You know, currently in GenNet, you import your pool via the flat file format, or yes, that's no longer. It's now you have to make sure your company is with the MISMO compliant XML export. SFPDM adoption impacts to pool data export. At the conclusion of the 18 months adoption window, pool information will only be available for export in SFPDM as MISMO compliant XML. After the 18 months, the flat files are no use anymore because at that time we're not using GenNet. So we have to use the XML compliant, the MISMO compliant XML if you are doing imports. If you're one of those small issuers that don't build an import file and you actually go in manually and enter your pool, you still have that ability to do the data entry. Ginnie Mae encourage issuers to begin planning to modify their existing processes to use the new XML file in place of the legacy flat file, sometimes referred to as 11705 and 1106 data, 11706 data. So you want to try and put this out there to the powers to be in your shop. Ginnie Mae is changing. GenNet is eventually going to the sunset. So you want to put that out there. We have a new import file layout. It's now MISMO compliant XML. We have to get on board in that. We have to make sure it's tested and everything is working so we can continue doing our pools. You have to push that narrative if that's your responsibility, or the powers to be already know this. You have to make them aware. Accommodation during the 18 months window. At this time, Ginnie Mae will continue to allow issuers to export their pool data as flat file from GenNet. Please know that the capability will not remain after the 18 months adoption window. So I've already said that. After that 18-month period time, you're not going to be able to use a flat file. So you really want to get on board. It's good time now. We have enough time. Maybe you might start setting up a file, get in touch with maybe a vendor who is a part of this. There's quite a few vendors out there who are actually working in this space. So they can actually start sending you information, or you can speak with them and see what you need to start setting up for the XML. Issuer/servicer should take the following steps to complete any necessary modification. Identify impacts to current business process. Issuers should identify whether any of their business processes, such as monthly investor reporting, rely on the current flat file export. Yes, because I know a lot of people currently do their monthly reporting, go into GenNet and export the 11705 and 11706, or especially because they use that as part of their processing for the monthly reporting. That flat file will change in SFPDM, so you have to make sure with the new format you're able to accommodate that in your current system or in your current environment. Review resources. Issuers should review the TDD. Keep on saying TDD, the PDD implementation guide, and additional SFPDM adoption resources on GennieMae.gov within the Modernization Initiative page. There's so much information on that page. The Modernization Initiative page, don't pass it. It's for your interest to know some of those things. If you need to get documentation from there and pass on to maybe your technical team so they can start building the TDD, or the PDD, or you just need to know more about the process, it's there. Don't hesitate to visit the Modernization Initiative page where you can get most of that information on the import or export file. And engage your IT team. I'd said that from the start. Issuers are encouraged to engage their IT team to begin planning of the necessary modification to use the new XML export. You see, I think what Ginnie Mae did, they gave the issuing community good amount of time. Good amount of time to go to do your planning, because we know it takes time sometimes to go through a new system and have to implement it. You have to do your own internal testing before you start using it. So Ginnie Mae set a good timeline for the users. Get started on this, look into it, we gave you the system, get used to the system, navigate through the system, understand the system, so when the time comes, you're ready to go to start using SFPDM, and of course the import your XML file in GennieNet. There I go again. Please forgive me. I'm going to say that a couple times. GennieNet, you're not importing your XML file in GennieNet at all. You're importing your XML file in SFPDM. Listen, I've been using GennieNet. GennieNet has been my friend for the last 20-something years. So forgive me if I say GennieNet a couple times when I'm going through the process, please. And what we did here is just kind of give you some screenshots of the pool details screen overview and what the import file might look like when you're doing the import XML file to add a pool, or you have two options. You can either add a pool or select. You have the pool unknown button to add a pool when you're doing the import. So we just want to give you some of those screenshots. And again, this is just some of the page. Add the pool here. You can do manual pool, or you can import the XML file. You have two options. You do manual entry, or you can do import the XML file. So these are just screenshots just to show you what happens or what you will do in terms of doing the import with the XML file. All this is in the user manual, but I just wanted to capture some of these screens to give you, so you'll get an idea as the work could be, the ones who actually will be doing the work. Okay, so we have come to that part that we have some questions, a polling question. So can the pollsters start the polling question, please? Which application will SFPDM be replacing in 18 months? We really ask these questions, but let's see what the answers are going to be. Is it going to be GennieNet? Is it going to be MFPDM? That's the multifamily pool delivery module. Is it going to be MAMS? That's the master agreement management system. Which one is it going to be? Okay. Is it going to be GennieNet? Is it going to be MFPDM? Is it going to be MAMS, or is it going to be, no, you don't have a vote. Which application will SFPDM be replacing in 18 months? We have been talking about it for the last almost 30 minutes. It's going to be GennieNet. GennieNet will be the one that they're going to put on in retirement and have it go slowly into the sunset and rest after. I think GennieNet came into being in 1992. So it's pretty old, actually. I think it's even older than James. GennieNet is older than James, just to let you know that. So eventually GennieNet will go into the sunset. So the answer is GennieNet. Second poll, please. Select the correct daily pool sweep times. The daily pool sweep. Are we sweeping the network at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Or we sweeping the network at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Or are we sweeping the network at 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, remember, we only sweep pools that have a status of certified. And we put this question in here again because I know that was on our Monday, that was in our part of our Monday presentation. But there's nothing wrong that you know the sweep times all the time, because so you can plan with your custodian what's the best time to send a pool so you can accept it before that 2 p.m. sweep. Yes, we do sweep at 2 p.m. and anything that comes in at 2 p.m. we release to the Fed by 4 p.m. and the ready date can be either the next business day or the specified new ready date settlement date on your 1175. And then we sweep again at 9 p.m. So the answer is actually B, 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. We are not sweeping yet at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. So we're still keeping it at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Thank you. Let's see if we have a third question. Pool information will only be available for import/export in SFPDM as A, a flat file, B, MISMO compliant XML file, D, a DAT file, or D, a TXT file. So what is the answer? And if I see one wrong answer here, I am going to look for that person and I'm going to visit them one day and just give them a big hug. So the answer for this, pool information will only be available for import/export in SFPDM. Uh-oh, someone wants a hug. Uh-oh, a couple people want. Yes, the answer is MISMO compliant XML file. That's where most of the file will, all your SFPDM file will know. We're not going to be using a flat file anymore. We're not going to be using no TXT. It's all going to be the MISMO compliant if that's the route you're going. If you decide to do the import, then that's what you'll have to, that's the new format. A flat file will not work in SFPDM at all. Thank you very much for your participation. Much appreciated. Okay, we are on to this system demo. I think it's like it's almost 13 minutes. It's almost 13 minutes the video is. So let us start. No, right before we start, don't start the video. Are there any questions or concerns? Let's do that first before. If there are any question in the chat that we want to bring in before we go into the video presentation or the system demonstration. Any questions? Any concerns? Anything that I said in the last couple of slides that just did not make sense to you, but you want some clarity? We can do that now before we go into the demonstration. As I said, okay, seems like there's no questions. The demo is like 13 to 14 minutes long. It kind of just gives you an overview of SFPDM system. There's a gentleman in the video. I'm not too sure why he was shouting at some points in the video. Just please forgive him and just offer him prayers. Can you start the video for me, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Padma Singaraju. I'm a business analyst. I have Mr. Wade Gale with me, Manager Customer Support, and we welcome you to the Single Family PDM demo. We are going to give you an overview of the new features, walk you through My Dashboard, Pools and Loans, and the reports functionality. I'm currently logged into My Dashboard as an authorized signer. My Dashboard displays important information such as the pools that are assigned to you, the recent updates taken by you, notifications, etc., and allows you to access all information in one screen. The widgets and components are based on your roles and privileges, and you're able to see information that pertains to your organization conveniently located in a single screen. The bright circles that you see here, what we call them as skittles, provide you at a glance full visibility to the pools that belong to you at the various stages of the workflow. You can Beneath this, you also see the updates that are made to the pool, who updated, when it was updated, along with the date and timestamp. Underneath, you also see the pools that are coming up for final certification, and there is also a button using which you will be able to add a pool from My Dashboard that allows quick access and reduces the amount of clicks. SFPDM workflow generates or triggers portal notifications that keep you informed about the progress of any actions you need to take. These can be allocated or can be accessed using the mail icon located here. Along with this, there is also other information, much more, that is available on the screen, conveniently located on one screen. Wade, would you like to add anything here?
Thank you, Padma. Just a couple of things like commitment authority. Users now have the ability to actually see your commitment authority right on your screen so you can plan. Know the pool amount you're going to submit. You don't want to make sure submit a pool amount that you don't have enough money to cover. You can also check out your pool numbers, know how many pool numbers you have so you can plan that way. So all that information is new. We never had that in GennyNet. And look how colorful the screen is. If you go right back up to where those skittles are, that information we never had in GennyNet. It gives you real-time information. You see your draft pools. You see where the pools, see that the pools were submitted. You have initial certified. You know when the custodian certified the pool. And that one in orange, you have the issue/transfer. That's new. Most of the time now in the GennyNet world, someone who wants to know if a pool was issued, they would have to call the hotline and then we'll have to check. But now you have that ability to just do that yourself. So this is modernization. Ginnie Mae did a very good job in terms of saying, if the issuers need to be in our program, we need to give them the best state of art so they can work with. And I think they have done a good job on that. So I'm endorsing this. And Padma, over to you.
Thank you. I'm now moving on to the SFPDM Pools and Loans tab. The Pools and Loans screen lists all the pools and provides various filters to quickly search and locate for a pool. The skittles that you saw are also located on top of the screen. The skittles also act as filters to group by the workflow. You also have a button here to add a pool. This enables you to add a pool in two ways. You could either add a pool manually or by uploading an XML file. SFPDM utilizes a standardized industry-wide accepted MISMO format data for data submission. Now, you have additional filters to refine your search by the status. You could also search for a pool by only typing a few characters of the pool ID, pool structure, etc. You also have an advanced search filter option that offers much more extensive options to filter and find a pool or a group of pools. The search results are displayed in the form of a grid here. You also have actions button located for every pool, which allow you to take actions such as delete, validate, submit, export without having to navigate out of the screen. The documents are also handily available under the actions. In addition to taking actions for a single pool, you could also take bulk actions. Wade, would you like to add anything here?
Sure. There goes those Skittles again. I love me some Skittles. So those are showing there all the different colors. So at least we'd see where our pools are, even if we're now on the pool detailed screen. And some other things, you know, that word right there, you see that star and it says favorite. Oh, if you notice that you have a lot of pools and you know you want to identify which pool you want to work on first, you can set up your pools in favorite. Those are things that we never had in GennyNet. So also printing your forms. I know we call it docs in the SFPDM space. And right where you have those three little dots is the word docs. And there you have your 11705, your 11706, and your 11711B form. You can print right there on the screen. In the old GennyNet, calling GenNet old now. In GennyNet space, you had to go to reports, and it did take a longer time to actually generate those reports. So it's much easier here in the SFPDM space. Padma?
Thank you, Wade. I'm now navigating to a pool's detail screen by clicking on the pool ID, which also is a hyperlink and navigates you to the pool detail screen. The pool detail screen, which is the 11705 information and much more, is made of several sections that you could expand or collapse. The screen is very user-friendly and presents the data in a very organized manner. It combines the 11705 information along with the header info, the parties info, the general info, the subscriber info, certification and agreement info, pool statistics, everything combined together in a single screen. The action buttons are also located on the top, which allow you to take, delete, validate, and also the documents that we spoke about are handily available at the top. You also have the contact information about who created the pool, the account executive, and the custodian information located at the top. The data mapping sheet is located here with the name, the legacy names, which is a quick reference that opens a cheat sheet to conveniently reference the new pool data fields with the legacy application. Wade, would you like to add anything?
Thank you. The legacy name I'm going to go to, because if you're a GennyNet user over the years, you're so used to those GennyNet terms and the GenNet fields. Now, because of the MISMO standard, we decide we don't want it to be frustrated. So if you open that, you'll see what's GennyNet name and what's the MISMO name that's now part of SFPDM. So that's a good thing for you. And again, on the screen, if you go right up to the top of the screen again, you notice you can do all those different tasks right on the screen instead of going to getting out. You can export a pool. You can actually look at your doc. You can delete a pool. You can save. You can validate. I know we're saying the word validate in GennyNet. We're used to applying Ginnie Mae edits. So that's the new term you're coming into now on SFPD and submit. Look, we can actually submit on the screen if the pools are validated and have passed the business rules. So that's enhancement, that's improvement, that's modernization for SFPDM. And users, you're going to enjoy the look and the feel of this new system, SFPDM. Padma?
Thank you, Wade. Now I'm navigating to the loans tab. This pool has 3 loans in it. Clicking on the loans tab will take you to the loan summary screen, which provides all the loans that belong to this pool in a grid format. You could again locate for a loan using the advanced filters or the quick filters. You can add a loan, you can delete a loan. The buttons are again available on the top. You could again validate the pool from here as explained by Wade without having to leave the page or navigating to host communications like you did in GennyNet. Now I'm clicking on a loan, which will actually take us to the loan detail screen. The loan detail screen follows a similar structure as the pool detail screen and comprises of several sections again that you could collapse or expand. When the page loads, you will see all the elements that belong to this loan, which comprise of the borrower information, the property information, etc. I'm collapsing the loan details. You can see that the pool header information is available for every loan at the top. Then there is the general information, the property information, the borrower information, and also it captures the loan note info, modification info, etc. Everything combined in one screen. The Buttons are again available at the top of the screen for taking actions or also viewing the HUD forms. The contact information is carried throughout every page of the pool application, and the legacy information, because the loan elements correspond to a different set of elements in the 11706 in the legacy application. The cheat sheet, which corresponds to 11706, is also available on the loan screen. Wade, would you like to add anything here?
Just that this is organized. It's going to make your work more efficient in actually processing your pools. I know I want to say there's a word there that says party something. I forget. I don't know if it's party element, but can you imagine you're doing your pools? You have a party going and you have Skittles to work with. I think that's heaven right there. Getting your Ginnie Mae pools processed with parties and Skittles. So there's some extra stuff to go with. But the main line, the bottom line is this system is going to make your life, your work, your task much more streamlined and much more efficient in terms of getting those pools out for delivery for Ginnie Mae and your investors. Padma?
Thank you, Wade. Now we are moving on to the last section of the demo, which is the reports. This is a new feature in SFPDM. SFPDM now offers 3 reports that you can run on your own, which is the final certification status, the pool's issuance for the month, and the pool status report. Each of these reports can be generated in either the PDF or the Excel format. By selecting the name and the document format, you're provided with a set of filters that help you in generating the reports in more than one way. You could either select a pool or a combination of filters and run the reports. The report will be downloaded for you and is ready to be printed. That's all I have for today. That concludes the demo, and we hope you're excited and eager to use the modernized application. Over to you, Wade.
Thank you, Padma. Again, the report says this is all new, as Padma said. We never had this in GenNet, and I know why this piece is going to help, because from my experience, what people call in on our hotline, can I have this information? Can we get this out of GenNet? Can we see all the pools we issued the last 6 months? And with these reports that we have created in SFPDM, now you have that ability to do that, and you maybe can share this information with other areas in your company, maybe with your investor reporting area. So these reports are very essential to the pool processing, and I'm sure they will enhance your processing in your shop. And you know what? I am sold. Who is ready to start SFPDM? I am. I hope the participants feel the same way. Thank you very much. Thank you, Wade and Padma. What was Wade drinking on that day? Man, he was hype. But so that was just a quick overview. That was a quick overview of SFPDM. I hope you got some insight in the process. Of course, you want to make sure you check out the user manual, which is going to be more detailed. You now have the system on you have the application on your system. Make sure you go through it, navigate through it, and just get familiar with it. So that was a quick overview. Just want to go through some more stuff before we decide to take our break at the top of the hour. The business rules. You hear the word business rules. We didn't have business rules in GenNet. We were used to apply Ginnie Mae edits. We hear Ginnie Mae edits. Now we have a business rule. Business rule must be passed before a pool can be posted to the network, basically like what we do in GenNet. The function check the pool and mortgage data against Ginnie Mae MBS guide requirements. If there are errors, individual record must be corrected and the business rule must be applied again. A pool is not available for transmission to the network until it passes the business rule. That's basically the same thing in GenNet. We're just changing the name, a different naming convention. It's now known as the business rule. Some tips on SFPDM. Issuers should keep the following information in mind when preparing for the transition to SFPDM. Preparation step, add the subscriber record. Just to let you know, because the subscriber record is not going to be in the new system, you would have to go in and add the delivery instruction on the maintenance. There's a section on the dashboard that says SFPDM maintenance. That's where you'll go in and add your subscriber information. And that's the information that contains your delivery instruction. Your MAM's information should be in, but because MAM's comes in as a part of the yearly recertification of your master agreement, but your subscriber information, you'd have to go in and make sure you add that in. Pool issued for immediate transfers. PIT execution will be available in both GennyNet and SFPDM during the 18 months adoption period. Transfer of PIT pools can only be accepted using the same pooling application that were initiated in. So if you started a pool in GennyNet, you're doing a PIT pool, finish a PIT pool in GennyNet. But if you're using SFPDM and you're doing a PIT pool, make sure the person who's accepting the pool is also in the PIT, is in SFPDM, so the process can actually finish there. So you want to make sure you're doing that. You can still do the PIT transfer, but if you're doing it in GenNet, finish it up in GenNet. If you're starting SFPDM processing, then do all of your PIT processing also in that, and make sure the accepting buyer, the person who's accepting the pool, they're also in PIT. Segregation of duties. Authorized signer can view the pool created by the data entry user prior to submitting the pool to the document custodian to be certified. I know when we first launched this, there was a separation of duties that if you're a data entry, you have to submit the authorized signer cannot go in and edit your pool, or you cannot go in and edit the authorized signer pool. When we launched this in April, those were some of the stuff that's in there, but now we took that out in our May updates. A couple weeks ago, we did that update. So the separation of duty, if you as a data entry set up the pool, the authorized signer has the ability to go in and edit the pool. The same thing on the authorized signer sign. If you go in and set up the pool, the data entry now has access to go in and edit the pool. The pool created by the data entry user we have not here, but are not editable at any stage. That is, it should say are editable. That's wrong now. It should say not it's now edible. Not edible, editable. It's now editable. Drafts similar to pools created by the authorized signer are editable by the data entry user. So that has changed. Its separation of duty is no longer a part of the system. So if you as a data entry set up the pool, the authorized signer has the ability to edit and vice versa. So we need to make sure we change this language here on the separation of duties right there. Just some more tips. Part of the process, which we did not see in that short demo, is GennyNet is still involved in this piece, because per Ginnie Mae, we still have to do an attestation piece. So when the pools are done, you have to send it over to the GennyNet side, and the authorized signer has to do the attestation on that before the pools can be sent to the custodian. So that's a new piece in GennyNet. We're gonna try and make sure we have that piece in any other presentation we have. Pool attestation will occur through GennyNet. Both 11705 and 11706 HUD forms require review and attestation to submit pools for initial certification. The attestation workflow is described in the user manual section, submit for attestation and initial certification. You want to check that out. If you're not clear when you read that, don't hesitate to give us a call on the hotline. The 11705 and 11706 forms are available in both SFPDM and GennyNet. Forms generated in either system will be considered a document of record during the 18-month adoption period. So you can generate the forms in both sections. Your document custodian are not impacted by the transition to SFPDM, and they will continue to certify the pools via GennyNet. Yes, there's no new system for the document custodian yet, so they're still going to be using GennyNet to do that. And just one other tip I want to pass on, because we don't do this in Ginnie Mae, but I noticed that it's how the system was designed in SFPDM. When creating a pool manually, enter an initial and minimum value of $1,000 in the original subscription amount field. Once all the loans are added in the pool, return to the pool detail to update the value accordingly. Original subscription amount is required field on the pool detail screen, but the amount is not finalized until all loans are entered. That's just if you're doing data entry. You know that section that says subscriber, you have to enter something in there to move on. And we're making a suggestion to enter $1,000. You might have a pool that you're entering for $1 million and something, but you just enter $1,000 and say and proceed, so you can continue the data entry. And once all the loans are in, you want to go back and edit that field and add the correct original subscription amount in there, because that will go with your totals and also enable to show what you're going to send to for your investors as part of the process. So that's something I want everybody to know. If you're doing a manual pool, go in and add that $1,000 in that field, and then continue with the process on the pool detail screen. And we did mention a little bit about this. We call it legacy names on the screen. We did put this in because we know some of the fields are different because of the MISMO compliance. So you have to try and get used to it. That's why we have it there. A document you might want to download. We have pool identifier now in SFPDM. It's no longer, that was pool number in Ginnie Mae. We have authorized amortization type, which is now pool type. We have class type, which is now issue type. We have structure type, which is now issue type. And we have, so those are some of the things I can remember. You have pool issue date, which is now, pool issue date on SFPDM is now called issue date in Ginnie Mae. This is a change. Trade book entry date. Trade book entry date. That is now called settlement date. That's a settlement date, the trade book entry date. So those are some of the things you're going to have to get used to and understand in the SFPDM space. You have the period count, which is, of course, in Ginnie Mae means terms. And you have subscriber information, so some of the information there has changed. You have bank account purpose type, which is the settlement. You have the ABA routing and transmit identifier, which is the ABA number. And you have the institution telegraphic ABA name, which is a deliverer too. So there are some changes in some of those things, and that's why we put this chart on both places, the 11705 screen and the 11706, so you users can get used to knowing the difference, and it's right there to, so when you're entering something, just go there and check it out. So I think this is a good thing for the users to get familiar with the new MISMO compliant names. Just a couple more things before we break. Just want to finish this. New pool processing module. My pool was issued and I need to pull it back. Who do I call? Like, we went through this yesterday. Please, you have to call your document custodian on that. What am I saying? You have to call your Ginnie Mae account executive for guidance on that, I should say. If a pool was issued and someone you want to pull it back, we at BNY Mellon can't do anything at that time, because so you'll have to speak to your AE on that and see what's the best way to work with that. I need to adjust my deliver instructions on my pool submitted/certified. Please call Ginnie Mae customer service 1-833-GINNIE-MAE-HELP, or send us an email at genmay1@bnymellon.com. A lot of times we get that you want to change your delivery instruction, or you want to change the breakup of all the amounts are going to that to the investor. At times we can make changes to it if the pool has not been delivered, but if the pool has been delivered to the Fed, we cannot. But if it's a pool that have a ready date of maybe the 12th, the 13th of this month, and we still have it, then we can go and you can send us an email with a breakdown of the new changes. What are the cutoff times for new pool processing? That again, you want to check those calendar. The calendar give you the cutoff time for the custom pools, the CSF pool, the the XSF pools, and of course the multiple pools have the cutoff dates on that pool calendar. So check that out as a part of your process, so you're in sync and everything will work well for you. Whoa, we are at a break. Are there any questions or concerns before we break? Anything that was said, anything was you saw in the video, what was said in the video? Just want to make sure we have everybody's back and we're meeting your needs. Any questions? Okay, since there's no question, we're gonna break for 15 minutes. So we have the timer up there. So once the timer is done, we'll come back and resume our session on certification. So thank you for your time and enjoy your break, and we'll see you in 15 minutes. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. Just wanted to find out, I know we have quite a few people on the line. Just want to get an idea where people are. You can just put in the chat just to get an idea where you are, where you're joining us from. Are you in LA? Are you in New York? Are you in Chicago? Can we see some of those? Colorado, nice. Colorado, Wisconsin, PA, Kentucky, Rhode Island, Nashville, Tennessee, okay. Carolina, CA, Ohio, Arizona, nice. So we're all over the place then. So all different time zones also. So we really appreciate your time, and I hope the session is of some help to you, and you'll be able to go back and continue with your process. And much thanks. Thank you very much for sharing where you are. I know the weather is just beautiful where you are too. So let's continue with the second half of our session. It's going to deal with some things dealing with Ginnie Mae, because Ginnie Mae is still in the game, because there's certain things you still have to do in Ginnie Mae, even as a custodian or as an issuer for now anyway. So initial certification document custodian process, we're just going to look at a couple screens just to give you an idea what happens in the document custodian shop. We have a request for release of documents 11708 is also on Ginnie Mae. And we just want to talk a little bit about little final certs and recertification in terms of some screen that we have there. So that's what the next maybe 30 minutes is all about. And again, this is accessing Ginnie Mae. You do access Ginnie Mae now through MGM. Everything is the one-stop shop. You go through MGM and then you pick the application. So this is going to give you an idea how you access Ginnie Mae. You'll see Ginnie Mae on the other application, and you click on that to get into Ginnie Mae. The document custodian, of course, you still use Ginnie Mae and will be using Ginnie Mae to do their processing. When the pool has been submitted to the Ginnie network, the document custodian must certify the pool. Ginnie Mae sends an e-notification to the custodian advising that there is a pool awaiting certification. The custodian completes the certification in Ginnie Mae. This initiates the pool processing timeline. So we have a little chart here that kind of gives you an idea what happened in MGM. Issuer submit pools to Ginnie Mae. Document custodian certifies. Issuer, the Ginnie Mae network sweeps at the 2 p.m. and the 9 p.m. sweep, and then it tells you what happens in our shop when those pools come in. We have to do, better believe it, although you pass the Ginnie Mae edits on those pools, when those pools are coming out on Ginnie Mae's network again, they go through another check just to make sure. That there are times that we do get errors, like pool number does not belong to an issuer, does not belong to you. You know what happened? You know what that issuer did? When they went in and did the RPN requests, and the pool might end with 1, 2, 3, they just assume that their next pool is going to be 1, 2, 4. But guess what? Someone has already used that pool. So you go into GennyNet and you add that pool and then submit. We get a message on our end saying pool does not belong to the issuer. We have to call the issuer and say, this pool you submit does not belong to you. So you just want to be careful when you're requesting your pool numbers. Don't assume that someone doesn't have the next consecutive number that's on you, that should be, you think is on your listing, because someone is grabbed that number quickly. But guess what? Guess the good thing about it is, you see in SFPDM, you won't have to worry about that issue because that pool is going to be identified right up front. Once you put that pool number in the system and try to move forward, that pool identifier field is going to come red if that pool does not belong to you. So that's a new feature too. We're checking that stuff up front now and not in the back end. Another error message that we check when we download those files from the custodian is commitment authority. Sometimes pools are submitted and guess what? There is not enough commitment to cover the pool. So that pool is a stop. So we're gonna have to get in touch with our account executive on that pool for that issue number and tell them that there is not enough commitment on these pools. Can you reach out to the issuer so they can wire whatever needed so these pools can move forward, sir? Those are some of the check. The commitment authority and pool number check is done right now. But in SFPDM, when you start using it, the pool number check is going to be done right up front. So if you don't have it, if that's not your pool number, it's going to tell you right there and then. So those are some of the things we check when it comes download on our end and prepare the file to send off to the Fed. This is just some screen just to tell you what happens in the custodian world and what their screens look like. If you're familiar with GennyNet, you know that the screens are fairly similar. And of course, on the custodian side, if they retrieve a pool, validate the pool, they cannot edit the pool. So if there's an error, if there's a mistake, the mortgagor name is spelled incorrectly, the mortgagor name is not there, something else is there, they have the ability as a custodian to reject that pool. Once the pool is rejected, it goes back to you. That enables you, the issuer, to edit, make the changes, apply your edits again, and submit the pool back to the custodian. So the custodian cannot edit anything because it should be Wade Gale and let's see Wade G-A-Y-L. The E is missing. They cannot edit and say, I'm going to add this. They have to reject that because it doesn't match what they have on file for that information that comes in on GennyNet. So reject. So look out for those notices too. If the pool is rejected, you have to go in and edit, make your changes and send to it. And the reason I'm mentioning these because you don't want rejects come very close to your scheduled settlement date or the date you promised to invest in the pools, and because of this now there's a delay. So who knows, that might cost your company money because you promised something on the 10th and you can't make the delivery on the 10th. So there might be some funds that you might have to pay for that. So just those are some of those things you have to be very careful. And of course, the custodian is doing their due diligence. If something doesn't match, they have the ability to actually go in and reject the pool. So that's what that screen is about. Still on the document, because this is document custodian initial certification transfer. And also we have something on the 11708. I don't know if you're familiar with that form. 11708 is a form that you can go in and make requests. Like your document custodians have mortgage note on these pools, but you want one of the pools back, you can go into the system and make that request through the 11708 request. It's there. It's not a mandatory form. Ginnie Mae have not said yet issuers must use this to make the request. I know a lot of people usually do it through email, but if you want to do it, you can try it and do the process through GennyNet. You send a request through GennyNet, the custodian acknowledge, and also put in the date when they're sending the document to you. So you have that trail in GennyNet. So you have that ability to do that on the 11708 requests. So this is just an idea, just kind of show you what the screen looks like. And that section is in the GenNet guide, actually on section 6.7, page 85, kind of give you an idea how that is done. If you want to do that as part of your process instead of using your other internal method of of requesting those documents from the custodian. You can actually do that via Ginnie Mae. And you have the section that you can put the reason why you're requesting a document, if it's paid off, and all that stuff. So you have five reasons here that you can choose as part of the process. Okay, Ginnie Mae final certification and recertification. Of course, you know, for final certs, once a pool is issued, the issuer is required to perform a final certification, which must be completed no later than 12 months after the issue date of the related securities. So you have 12 months to actually do the finalization of all the pool, make sure all the documents are in check, make sure you meet Ginnie Mae guidelines, because if not, those things can also end up, you have to post a letter of credit because you missed certain things. So you don't want to do that. So you have 12 months to finalize everything and do the final certification on the pool. Just as one more thing to make a reference to SFPDM here. Once you set up that pool in SFPDM, your first pool, you also do the final certification in SFPDM. So that's a good thing, and you can follow of course, you follow the trail. That's why we have those skittles there that gives you where the pool is. And I said in the recording, those are things that we don't currently have in Ginnie Mae. We don't know the status of a pool. If it's submitted, we don't have the custodian certified unless we have to go back in Ginnie Mae and look at the status or call us. But right there now, those skittles give that information. And also when it's time for final certs, I think there's some notification on the dashboard at the bottom telling that these pools are due for final cert. So you have those, a lot more information to get out to SFPDM and give you notice that this pool is coming up for final certs. So final certification must, if the SFPDM pool is done in SFPDM, you do the final certs via SFPDM, not Ginnie Mae. But currently, if you have your pools in Ginnie Mae, you're going to finish the final certs in Ginnie Mae. You can't go and do them in SFPDM because currently those pools are not in SFPDM. And for research, of course, if there's an issuer portfolio transfer or a document custodian transfer, the issuer of record is required to submit a recertification for all affected pools 12 months from the effective transfer date to Ginnie Mae. All recertification are on the pool level are to be submitted via Ginnie Mae. So all recertification are done via Ginnie Mae. You can either do them one by one or you can create an import file and do your research. And research, as they said, if you change custodian during your lifetime with Ginnie Mae, you'd have to do a document custodian transfer. If you have more than one custodian, you'll have to do a partial document custodian transfer and make sure you're telling us you're sending this pool here and you're keeping back this pool there. We'll show you or talk a little bit more document custodian transfer on our Friday session, but we just want to tell you some of the other functions that you have to perform in Ginnie Mae. If recertification only happens if you transfer stuff anyway. If you're a new issuer, most likely you're not transferring portfolio right now because you're just building a portfolio. So you might not have anything to transfer. But if you're an established issuer and you have gone through that, you do your transfer via the PTS system, and then 12 months later, you have to come in and do your recertification in Ginnie Mae. So this is what this section is here for. And this just gives you just a full overview of what happens in that world. One, the issuer selects Ginnie Mae, menu option, certification. Issuer enters a pool to be recertified. Issuer applies, Ginnie Mae edits and submit pools to document custodian. 1A, issuer retrieves pool loan detail from Ginnie Mae for the final certification. 2, issuer completes certification process, including loan substitution if there's one. Issuer selects option to apply certification edits. Issuer applies the Ginnie Mae edits, and the system flags those that pass the edits. Issuer selects option to transmit certified pool. Ginnie Mae transmit loan detail to pool to certify by the custodian. Ginnie Mae sends a notification to the custodian that there is a pool to be certified in Ginnie Mae, And 5, the custodian receive e-notification that there's a pool to be certified in GennyNet, and the custodian performs certification. As I tell you, the custodian get these notifications when the pool is certified. A notification should go back to you in GennyNet so the pool is certified. And also at that time, in SFPDM, it's now updated to say initial certified on your Skittle, on that particular Skittles. So that's where you can check those things. And when the pool is issued, that's issued Skittle that says issue/transfer would also update with the a number, and also the pool status will change. Those pools will show as issued in SFPDM. So those are some good things that you can actually monitor on your own right in the system, other than actually giving us a call and asking, can you tell me if this pool was issued? What's the status of this pool? You can see it right there on the Skittle if the pool was done in SFPDM, of course. If it's not done in SFPDM, you might still have to call us on for the GennyNet pool if you need that information. GennyNet pool retrieval for final certs. I'm not too sure if this group is a group that actually will be doing the initial pools and also the final certs. Just to let you know, in final certs in GennyNet, you have to retrieve the pool. You have to go out there on the certification and do a pool retrieval. The pools for final certs are not going to show up on your system. You have 2 ways of doing a retrieval. You can retrieve do an individual retrieval, or you can do a bulk retrieval by putting in the pool numbers and retrieve all of those pools. If the pools went through some form of transfer, those pools, and they're now with you, you can also retrieve those for final certification, just to let you know. You're not going to have the initial documentation on those pools because they weren't issued by you at the time. But you can do the final certs because the information has now changed from the previous issuer number to yours. So you can do the retrieval. And this is on the screen here, just kind of give an idea. Retrieve pools for final certs. And you can put in the pool number, the issue type, the pool type right here, or you can retrieve them in bulk, whichever works best for you. But for final certs, you have to retrieve the pools, and the pools are not retrieved in the new pool processing area. They're retrieved in certification. They're retrieved in the certification section, just to let you know that. Not a new pool, so that might not be your responsibility. It might be someone else who handle the pools after they're issued, but they have to have that module called certification as part of their setup in the system. And again, this just give you more information, or just screenshot on what happens in the final certs area, what the screen looks like. And also at the bottom, this is the recertification page on the issuer side. And of course, on the GennyNet, you have the recertification page. GennyNet page 113, I think, is for the GennyNet on Ginnie Mae on the web issuer singular family training guide. You can get more information on that. And of course, if you're still confused, don't hesitate to utilize us. That's what we're there for, from 8:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're calling us, go through the hotline options, where option either 1 or option 3 should get you to one of the 5 representatives in the group at this time. We're here from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're not getting a lot of calls that much like in the 7 p.m. time, but we're available to help you if you're not clear on anything. You have read the guide, just to pass it out. If you have read through the guide, Summer Ginnie Mae policy, what's needed, and you're not clear on those things, don't hesitate to reach out to your account executive for more policy clarification, or just to get more information on that piece. But if you're using SFPDM or you're using GennyNet to do certain functions and you're not clear on how to move forward, that's when you want to reach out to us. So we can either hold your hand and walk you through it. A lot of times what we have been doing now with our users, it's so convenient, and I think the customer service team, support team actually likes this. If that person has Microsoft Teams, and we can set up a session, and they can actually show us what they're doing, and then we can walk them through that. That has been very helpful with the team of late, setting up little sessions, little 10-minute session, just to see what you're doing while you're getting that error, and then we can guide you that way. I know that has been working for the team. So if that ever comes in that you need to reach out to us that way, you can always suggest that, can we set up a team so you can show us what the issue is, and then we can try and rectify it that way. So that's one way to go. If you rather just send us an email and we'll call you back, or you rather speak to us on the phone, you have those options too. Polling question. Wow, we're almost to the end of this session. We have some polling questions. So Wade Gale can take a break and drink some of his favorite mango juice. Okay. Oh, let's see what the first question is. How should I submit pools for recertifications? Select all that applies. Issued will continue to process pools for recertification on GennieNet. Issuers can submit a manual certification request. Issuers can submit the recertification using GMAP 1.0. Yeah, we really make these. I haven't seen a manual request in a while, but the main answer is A. Issuer will continue to process pools for recertification on GennieNet. We have done manual issues before. We have actually done, I'm not saying B is still right, but I'm not too sure how many people are doing manuals anymore, because if your pools are on GennieNet for recertification, you should be able to go in and print the 11706 form for research, and that's there, and the custodian can certify that there. But for any reason, if you have to do a manual, you can print the form. Make sure you sign off on the form, send it off to your custodian so they can do their sign off to, and then send it to us at BNY Mellon in our risk in the office to do the manual check. But I haven't seen one of those in a while. But the answer is mainly number one, but I'm not ruling out number two. If things happen, technical issues, can log into your system, but you have the physical document, might as well send it for recertification that way. But the volume must be very tiny on that right now. So we do encourage everybody to use and do the recertification via GennieNet. Next question, or polling question. Let's see what's on tap. Final certification is due within 12 months after the pool is certified, within 12 months after the effective transfer date, within 12 months after the pool's issue date. Which one is it? Is it A, B, or C? Within 12 months after the pool is certified, within 12 months after the effective transfer date. We're talking about final cert, so we should definitely rule out one of them here. Or within 12 months after the pool's issue date. I said it in one of those slides. Which one is it? Do you remember this one? People are still a little bit conflicted with the answer. Is it within 12 months after the pool is certified? Is it 12 months after the effective transfer date? Is it within 12 months after the pool's issue date? Still not sure. Hmm. 37% say within 12 months after the pool is certified. There's a 6% out there that says within 12 months after the effective transfer date. And there is, right now, there's a 71% saying within 12 months after the pool issue date. And the answer is actually C. Within 12 months after the pool issue date. You want to get the final certification within 12 months, not the certification date, but when the pool is issued. That's when the clock starts there. So the answer is actually C. So thank you for your participation. And within 12 months effective date of the transfer date, that is for recertification. That's for research. Next question, please. Which reason code are not applicable when completing the Form HUD 11708 request for release of documents? Is it paid in full? Is it credit score drop? Is it loan substitution? Is it default, or is it no vote or other? There's another one there, that other. I guess we didn't put that one there. Excuse me. Everybody already know this one. They just went right away and said 18 people, that's 100% who took part in this question, which reason code are not applicable when completing the HUD form 11708 request for release of documents? Is it paid in full? Is it credit score drop? Is it loan substitution? Is it default? And ta-da! Drum roll. The answer is B. Credit score drop is not actually on that 11708 request form at all. That's just one that we just decide to put in there because, hey, they ask us all the time that we have to have good credit scores. So why not just throw it in and kind of throw people off a little bit? Thank you for your participation. Much appreciated. Is there another question, or that's it? I guess that's the poll question. Oh, we're doing good with time. We have any questions or concerns? Anything you want to bring to our attention? Anything you're not clear on? Any work experience you want to share with the team? So people can look out for anything you want to share with us? Kyle, yes. Kyle, you can use this if you're ready for SFPDM. If you want to do manual entry, you can. If you have to go through getting your XML file set up, but you can go in and do manual entry for the system if you're ready to start using SFPDM. Yes. Oh, just to play close attention. I wanna go back just when we started earlier. Just want to go back to just want to stress this before we wrap up for the day. The timeline here. Very important timeline. You want to try and meet Ginnie Mae expectation. Of course, we said the all participant memo went out in January, giving us the time. Then we release MFPDM to the full single family and mobile home issuers in April. And just a reminder, Ginnie Mae is encouraging users. Ginnie Mae expects all SFPDM and MF pools to have a working PDD or to be pooling in SFPDM by the end of 2022. And GenNet will no longer be used for single family pooling. Only SFPDM will be available to issuers for single family pooling then. So you have those dates. You have to make sure you're working towards those dates. If you're good, if you're one of those issuers that you're not going to be using the XML file, try and go into SFPDM and just navigate around and get familiar with the screens, how certain things work. If you're going to do a manual pool, I would suggest going and put in a test pool. Maybe you're going to start in August or July. Put in a small test pool, one loan, and just go through the fields just to see how the flow is for you and your comfort level. So you can start, because this is going to be our new world. It's going to be SFPDM. And of course, Wade Gill will have to start saying SFPDM and stop saying Ginnie Mae. But get used to that. I also attend, I think Ginnie Mae does a weekly, no, it's not a weekly anymore. It's a monthly user meeting. I'm not calling the meeting right. They have a SFPDM user meeting where they talk about SFPDM and just discuss some more the timelines and what's new and what's coming up. So make use of that. Read that user manual, especially on the attestation part of it. That's a little bit different, because after you process the pool in SFPDM, you're sending them off to Ginnie Mae to do the attestation in Ginnie Mae before you can send it off to the custodian. That's the layer that's new. It's going to be there until Ginnie Mae actually goes away. So know that process, the attestation piece, check it out in the user manual. Make sure you're familiar with it. If you're not, if it's confusing to you, again, I'm going to always say, don't hesitate to give us a call. Somebody's asking about the security. Yes, if you're not clear on that, let me see, who sent this to us? I think we have a QRC on this, Kyle. I think we have a QRC on this. If not, you can always call one of the guys, one of the representative on the hotline on this, because it is a little bit different from what we're used to. There are more fields to fill in, but I think we have a QRC on that. If not, if you want to call us and set up like a MST meeting with either Erica or a Sean, be our guest to do that, so we can get this done for you, okay? Anything else? Any other question? So for me, I want to thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you're looking forward to the new changes in Ginnie Mae. I just want to, one more thing, just want to put our email address, the generic email address, in the chat. GINNIEMAE1. Did I write that right? And my email address, wade.gale@bnymellon.com. Again, want to thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful in some, but don't forget to read all the material. Let me go back to our resource. We offer resources here that you can look at, and also don't hesitate to go into the modernization section on the Ginnie Mae website and go through those documentation, especially if you're going to do the XML format. You want to make sure you have the correct setup. So check out the latest PDD document, and if you need to forward that off to your tech people, make sure you do that. If you want to get in touch with a vendor to help you with the file, make sure that's also done. So Wismo also have a website or an email address you can send questions to. It's out there on the web. I'll see if I can get it and post it for you on our Friday session. But they also have, if you want to ask question in reference to the PDD document. So there's also a tool called VTT you have the availability to do that. if you have an XML file, you can run it through the VTT before you set up the pools in Ginnie Mae. There you go again, Wade, in SFPDM. So you have a lot of aids, a lot of things to help you before you get to the end. So happy pooling. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Yolanda?